So good morning. This is a quick video on how do you know when you're healing or when you've healed, really, or good markers for healing. You'll know from a narcissistic or a toxic relationship. I think my answer is going to have to be how you know that you've healed is because you no longer are struggling with cognitive dissonance. In other words, you don't have that mix up in your brain anymore. Your brain is now connected and wired itself correctly. You understand what you went through. You can look back and you start to pick up the pieces of what you actually went through and the abuse that you went through, and you can recognize it, not as separating like, oh, this is two different individuals. No, this is the same person. For example, when I went to counseling, I was telling my counselor that, yeah, we had some bad times, but we really have a good relationship. This, in fact, is not the truth. Yes, there were good times mixed with bad times, but the good times that were mixed in with the bad times were a part of the abuse. They were a part of the control and the love bombing, et cetera, et cetera. But how you know that you've healed is really, you're not thinking about ever going back to the narcissist. You are done. You know that that's a person that there's no way this person treated you in such a manner that you would never not only go back with your abuser, but you would never experience that again with anybody else. So that's how you know that healing is really taking place. You no longer will accept that type of behavior from another human being, because now you have come to the strength in your life and point where you have boundaries, you have a love for yourself, but you know that in a real sense you're not codependent anymore. That was your part in this, allowing somebody to treat you like that in the first place. I can tell you story after story after story after story after story after story, and which I did regale those stories to my counselor as she patiently listened to each story, thinking, wow, I mean, those stories there was so much chaos and insanity in those stories. There was me trying to figure out, why was I losing control and yelling and screaming, and now my abuser is telling me that I am the abuser, and all I can do is look at how I'm acting. I don't even know why I'm acting like this. Maybe she's right. Maybe I do have an anger problem. Maybe I do need to get help. Maybe I've always had an anger problem. I mean, these were the things that were told to me, but I don't live like that. So you would think somebody with an anger problem, and it's called reactive abuse. If you want to look it up, there's some great video. There's other videos on people talking about it. Just great information to get a hold of. It's called reactive abuse, but that's a part of really narcissistic abuse that was penned by Sam Beckman, who actually coined this term that we're all using on these social media platforms is narcissistic abuse. Narcissistic abuse goes something like this. They generate guilt and shame within you. It's almost as if they're brainwashing you. They generate that kind, and no, nobody can make you mad, and nobody could have the power to do that. But yes, people can abuse you in this way, and you only go so far with that before you even healthy individual people, you couldn't be around that for too long until you snapped. And that's basically what happens. I don't know about you, and your story, but a lot of stories I've seen and heard But basically, you end up losing control, so to speak. And for me, it was yelling and screaming, and you know, it was shown to my children, and that's what I was doing. But that's not who I am. There's a difference. That's not how I live my life on a day-to-day basis. I'm remarried. I haven't had one conversation like that with my wife. I haven't had any kind of conversation that with people. I've had arguments with people. I don't act like that. And part and parcel is because I'm not codependent, wanting somebody else to change and expecting something different from somebody else. I have learned that. I've learned to hold myself and allow people to be idiots if that's what they need to be. If they need to be whatever, if they're toxic and abusive, I just get away from them, and I don't argue with them, and I definitely don't lose my cool. But you know, everybody has a breaking point, and you know, when you start to you'll see that's part of narcissistic abuse. They transfer their guilt and shame and anger onto you. And in my case, as soon as I would get like this, as soon as I would get emotional, it would start, there it is, you have a problem, and you are a problem, da 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 da. And then it would be like, and if I would yell, it would be like, my ex would say something like this, in this tone of voice. Look how angry you are. And I would be so not validated in my feelings. And then I would start to physically shake. I could feel the, I guess, I don't know if it's adrenaline, or I could just feel it in my whole body. I could just feel this. And so people that make me feel like that today, I get away from them. I don't spend too long with them. Whatever dealings I have to have with them, and I get out of my way. Anybody that does not validate me, anybody that doesn't support me, anybody that doesn't treat me correct. See, that's how you know that you'd never go back. That's how you know you've grown and you've healed. You're not going back to the situation. You're not wanting to go back to the narcissist. You know that person's gonna, that person treated me for 33 years like this. Why in the heck, you know, some of the questions are, why in the heck did I allow it? Some of the issues I deal with was, do I forgive myself now? Why would I allow that to happen to me? How could that have happened? How in the world? And you know, that's where you struggle with trust. People on here talk about trust. That's where you struggle with trust with other people, with yourself, and with if you're a Christian, you suffer with trust from God. You're asking God, why? Well, God doesn't intend for you to live like that, and God doesn't want you to be abused. And in fact, in my case, He ripped that person away from me. 33, you think about this, 33 years, 4 children, 7, 8, I think I got 8 grandkids now. I don't know, because she has poisoned those relationships as well, and she runs a false narrative. So the false narrative, oh my goodness, it's even kind of stressful to talk about, because it's so unbelievable. But my friends believe it. What the duplicative life that a covert narcissist lives is unbelievable. How they can live it and continue to look themselves in the mirror, but see that what they see is they don't recognize that. And it helps to know that. It helps to know. It helps to understand about narcissism. To go on and on about it is not good, but it helps to understand. They don't see that person. They see a false person. They've created in themselves this false person. But you, as a healed individual, you know, you've seen that. You're not going back to that. You don't want to go back to that. That's not. You don't ever want to be treated like that again. I don't know. I would rather be on the furthest planet by myself than to be with somebody that treated me like that again. That's how you know when you've healed. And I hope that helps and resonates with y'all. All right. Well, God bless everybody. It's been 10 minutes. I don't want to do more than 10 minutes. So take care, and hope to hear from you. Bye.